Hello, everybody. This is Courtney with Finding the Force, and I'm really pleased to introduce my friend, my associate, Burt Gershater, who's a coach, a speaker, a mentor with over 50 years of
Oh,
experience helping individuals and organizations create lasting change from corporate leaders to elite performers. He's the author of No Guts, No Love, and is widely known for creating and directing the award-winning television segment Successful Living, along with contributing to public media and personal development programming throughout his career. Most recently, he's been working on a local column in Oregon called Awakening Your Inner Hero. So, we're going to go through the regular questions, and we always begin with vision, your background, your purpose, and more about you.
it's a good place to start, so you know who you're talking to. Do you have a specific question you want to guide me with that, or just you want to ramble on from my?
We're just going to bounce the ball back and forth, folks. Well, the purpose of the podcast is to support therapists and people who help people, both
Yeah.
by elevating what you do and highlighting the nuances and the differences and your specialties. But where do you come from and what first got you started on all of this?
So, where do I come from? It's always a great question, huh? Where I come from? Where didn't we come from? But I was born in Manhattan, and then moved up north to Westchester, and then went to school in northern New York State, and then moved to Arizona, Flagstaff, Arizona, up in the mountains. Uh, but going back to, how I got to where I am, I thought I was going to be a dentist like my father, an orthodontist, because I didn't think about it. I didn't think about what I was going to do. I was going to follow in my dad's footsteps, even though I didn't know much about it. So, but then I went to college and I was in pre-medical school, and then I had to take chemistry.
Oh,
And then I failed chemistry. So it was during the Vietnam War, and here I am flunking, and I'm not going to go to school, and I didn't want to go to Vietnam, so I became a volunteer in service to America. So it's like the Peace Corps, but
hmm.
it's internal. And I went from one of the wealthiest counties in the country, Westchester County, just north of New York City, to the Sioux Indians, just near Rapid City, South Dakota, which is probably the poorest. I was in shock for probably the whole year I was there at just the level of everything that was there. But it did teach me that I was going to work with people for the rest of my life. Somehow that was, and I made, lifetime friends and I had lifetime experiences. And I just knew it's kind of, there's always sayings or wisdom that say, when things bad happen, look for the good part. Well, that was the good part of funking chemistry. I wouldn't have been a very happy dentist or a good one either. And so I got moved into, working with people, which is what I was meant to do. And I should have known that ahead of time, but I just did. Self-awareness was not built into it just wasn't built into the culture, being self-aware. It definitely wasn't built into me. So it's taken me a lot of years to have some clue about what self-awareness is and to benefit from it. So,
Wow. You spent a year on the reservation. Of course, I come from a Native American background, and I think that
yes.
when we first
Yeah.
spoke, that's one of the many tangents that we spiraled off on. A lot of
Yeah.
fascinating rabbit holes.
Yeah.
How
And
did
I was actually just north of the reservation. So these were people, we actually lived in a community with all houses that were brought there. They were old houses that were brought there, and it's called Sioux Addition.
Wow.
And there was no water, no electricity, no
It's
paved
chilly
road.
up that way, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Chilly in
Very,
winter.
very, 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 very chilly.
No
South Dakota.
electric. So wood burning.
Yeah, what did we do?
You were cold.
Yeah,
No
yeah, I know
matter
we
what
were
you did, you
cold.
were
Yeah,
cold.
yeah, what we did, we were cold. Yeah, wood burning. And what's kind of cool, to this day I burn wood to stay warm. Just part of it's one of my favorite things in life, to chop it and carry it and burn it and clean it. So it's a beautiful warmth.
It is, and there's something about it that's very regulating. That's one of the things in the first part of my system is regulation, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and and really relaxing the nervous system. So we could talk about that a little bit too, because you have a deep understanding of that, even
Yeah.
though that's not the only topic we're talking about. So you regulate by the fire, you regulate in nature. What are some other ways that you enjoy unwinding?
Just really for me, it's kind of wild, but I just connecting deeply with people, just to be with people and to let go. And a lot of my life is unwinding, even in a therapy session. I tell myself before the session, Bert, you're not in charge. Let go, see what needs to happen. And then literally magic happens. Did I, people say, how did that happen? I don't know. There's just a lot of letting go. So just as a lifestyle of learning over time to let go, to let go. I mean, one of the prayers that we say before we go to bed every night is forgive everybody for everything. It's just beautiful. So just whatever it is to learn to let go. And that helps me regulate. Just let go. But a huge part of regulation is back from my yoga days, just learning about breathing, breathing in my belly, doing it slowly. And with all my clients, I get there because whenever we're tense, whenever we're have anxiety, we know where our breathing is. We know how it is. It's tight. It's up here.
That's so true.
And so, and when you've done this, just to ask a group of people to start breathing in their belly and do it for 2 minutes. And then you say, what do you notice? It's the same thing every time. I feel more present. I feel more relaxed. And the beauty of that is, for me, is, well, we all can do it. Doesn't cost anything. And we have immediate results. It's great.
It's the best kind of therapy, right?
Well, it just switches gears. It gets us out of our lower brain, our mind that will take us any place that it wants to take us to make us unhappy, and just shift away and go to our, literally goes to a different part of the brain that is activated during meditation and prayer or out in the wilderness and in awe, a state of awe. It takes us to a higher place. And we literally shift from the lower, whatever you want to call it, the animal brain, to a higher place. And that's the beauty about being a human being. We have that capacity to shift consciously from one part of our brain to the other. And I've even taken it, not I, but then people take it to another level. Not just we have the ability to, we have the responsibility to.
You named it. I was about to ask, what is that thing that keeps people in the egoic mind or in that, in Mickey Singer's book, he talks about all of this, that the chatter, the mental chatter.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
Spanish, we say mitote, like Miguel Ruiz calls it that. And it's kind of
Uh,
like junk talk or the roommate who
yeah,
pays no rent and doesn't do dishes.
yeah.
You
That's
know?
him. It actually breaks some of the dishes.
Yeah, probably gets drunk, who knows? Probably
Absolutely.
up to no good all the time.
Yeah.
And what do you figure that is, that part of us?
Well, for one, we're animals.
Right.
We just are. Come on. We're animals. And in my yard right here, we've got a lot of animals that come in. We got deer that come in and birds that come in and chipmunks and when they come in, they're all going like this. They're all looking around. That's right. They want to be safe. And they know they're not because they never know what's coming. Right? So A, we're animals. And that part of our brain is the most important part because it'll show us where danger is so we can protect ourselves. It is the most important part of our brain. I don't want to say
Most
however.
primordial part of our brain, the part that protects us, right?
Absolutely. When we see danger, I mean, obviously the downside is that it pays attention to everything that's going wrong.
Right. The narrative, the this, the that,
Absolutely.
I should, or I this or that. What if this and the other? And
It goes, and I think as I'm talking to everybody, it goes nonstop. It's very busy. It just has a deal. When we go to a higher part of the brain, we feel like we left the other one. We don't even know where the other one was. Like
Yeah,
there's a peace, there's a paradise, there's a connectedness, there's a oneness, there's no separation. And all of this, all of the worries and the doubts and the fears, they're no longer protecting us. In fact, they're doing the opposite. They're toxic. And what's really beautiful is we have the capacity, and back to responsibility, to not listen to that BS.
as much as possible.
No, absolutely. Right. Or even if we can't shut it off, we know that most of it is BS. It's not true. It's simply not true. It's negative and it's lying. Now, those are two big reasons not to listen.
For sure.
Right? They're, they're damaging and they're just not true. Like, one of our biggest voices is I'm not good enough. I mean, I ask a group of people, how many of you have had that voice? Everybody raises their hand. You know, I'm not good enough.
Everybody. Yeah.
Everybody, everybody. And the truth is, we're all beautiful and we have something to offer. And we can always, and part of being here is always getting better at being what we are and taking away stuff doesn't serve us that well. That's part of our journey.
Yeah, if
Both
we
of
were
us.
perfect already, it would be a boring journey.
It'd be awful.
It would be awful. That's why God made us. So for entertainment value,
Yeah,
probably.
no. No, one of the things I'm studying right now, I've got the book right over here, but there's a law in my Judaic faith that says you never speak badly about anybody. I just love it because I grew up, you could speak badly about anybody. That
No,
was
no.
that was part of the way I thought I got popular. Because I could speak better than. But it's really neat. It's just I forget exactly what the question is, but this just that learning, the learning never ends. And here I am, a relatively old man, and I'm getting better at not speaking badly about people and not necessarily tolerating it too much when other people are doing it. So I don't want to be in that environment. So it's just neat the learning that goes on that never stops. We're just blessed. One of the things I keep on talking about Jewish faith, but you break the matzah in the beginning and you hide the biggest piece so the
Right.
kids can find it, right? And of course, the biggest piece. Why do you hide the biggest piece? That's because there's a lot more that we don't know than we do know, and we hide it. A lot more that's hidden. Just all the symbolism of uh, of our lives. So here we are with these two parts of the brain. The lower one will never leave us alone. And I love that. I've learned that. They say, don't think you're ever going to stop that part of the brain. Okay, that's very good to know.
That is good to know.
It is. But then over a lifetime, you can take it less seriously.
That's the next piece. That's the orientation piece. So that's like the perfect segment. You know,
Oh,
I
good,
don't want to
good.
pat myself on the back too hard. And it's not me that I'm patting on the back. It's literally like all of the indigenous traditions from around the world that have
Yeah,
this system, whether
right.
it's yoga or it's Chinese or it's Judeo-Christian or
Yeah,
it's native. Every single time, one, two, three, four,
yeah,
one,
right,
two, three,
right.
four. And you can feel when you've come to a sort of completion.
Yeah,
So here we are.
yeah.
We've completed the first part of this series of beautiful interviews. I like to keep these interviews kind of short because I want you to come back again and get to know more about Bert. And I also want you to sort of like viscerally, somatically integrate this system of one, two, three, four. Because that's the structure, that four keys structure all over the world. That takes some of the load off of us and it says, oh, there's a structure that can handle this. So I don't have to wonder when this particular segment is done. I can feel it. I go, oh, now we're moving on to the next one where we talk about the vehicle, how you do these things, the orientation, how do we get people present in their bodies in the moment. So I'm really excited. I'm also excited to learn more about your column, the TV show, and all of these nifty things that you do. I could talk for hours with you about philosophy. So
I
we'll,
love it
we'll
too.
talk a
It's a
little
good
bit
thing.
more, and we'll see you guys in the next one.